What's up, everybody? This is Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
You're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast. What's up, everybody? Phil Rogacki here with Two Tree Guy Podcast in Arborfest in Asheville, North Carolina. In this episode that we're going to be going today is Gear Talk. If you guys haven't listened to this before, this is where we're going to break down some the products, talk about the manufacturers, the vendors, the people, the users, everything about this product we're going to put together. We also have different episodes out there. We got our full-length episode, which is in our studio in Santa Rosa, California. If you guys ever come by, you got a place to stay, and you'll get on the podcast show. We also have our mini shows, which is What's Your Story? That we get to hear from industry badasses of how they got in the industry, people that inspired them, and some wisdom that they can share. And then we have our safety talks or our safety flashes that we share about real life incidents that happen in our industry. How do we prevent those? How do we make them better? How do we make sure these things don't happen again for that? So today's Gear Talk, we got the brand ambassador, Bill Burley, one of many badasses for Teufelberger that's here. And then we have John Sullivan, good friend of myself and Bill Burley's, that's going to be sharing his experience using the HipSTAR Flex. So shows your superstar. What you got, man?
Appreciate that. So today we have the HipSTAR Flex. This is the HipSTAR Flex Lite. Available in 2 diameters. That's available in 11.5, which is here in the green, and also available in 12.7 in orange. So if you like a little thicker lanyard, you can get it in the 12.7, otherwise known as half inch, or you can get it in the 11.5, otherwise known as 7/16. I prefer the HipSTAR Flex over to other lanyard systems. I've used just about every lanyard system on the market. The multifunctionality of the HipSTAR Flex is it can be replicated by other lanyard systems. But it's not the intended purpose of those other systems isn't what the intended purpose is like this. This is a CE rated system, tied from the factory. It comes in 3 different lengths.
Talk about the CE rated.
So the CE rating is a organization that takes your product and puts it through a battery of tests. Does it do its sole intended purpose? Does it pass all the environmental requirements? Does it pass the durability requirements? Does it pass the flame, smoke, and drip requirements for flame and heat resistance? There's just a plethora of standards, variables that it must pass in order to get that CE rating.
Now, how many products out there actually take their products through, or companies take their products through that test?
In our industry, believe it or not, a lot of products actually do attempt to get CE ratings. Mm-hmm. It does take an undertaking financially. It does take not a significant amount of time, but if you're not manufacturing at a high level, if your manufacturing processes if they're not on point, if they're not to the ISO 9000 level, if you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing, documentation, you're not going to get a CE rating. There are other products out there, other climbing systems and such, that are CE rated for certain things. Like there's a climbing device on the market right now that a lot of people like to climb on that only has a handful of lines that are CE rated to work with that device. Every other line, it won't carry the CE rating. So it's a significant process that for certain things, it's very important. And life support CE would be one of those requirements that I would consider extremely important. But the lanyard system we have here, it's CE rated for an anchoring system. So we could literally make this if you see fit, you could anchor yourself with this system solely and be in compliance. You won't be in compliance with working because that takes a double tie-in, but this is rated to be a sole anchor for life support. Multifunctionality on this one, you can run this in your standard MRS, what we consider let me step back. Your standard work positioning configuration where you're splitting. One side would be on one D-ring, the other side would be on another D-ring. It's also used in double rope technique. So you can go ahead and clip the carabiner back on the Beckett of the Pinto, and you can run this in MRS fashion.
Like a V-rig or an M-rig.
Yeah, you can run this in M-rig.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything you can do with a climbing system, you can do with this lanyard. You can run this in single line system by adding the OD loop, the thimble loop. You can choke this onto a spar and run this in single line configuration. You can, if you had the 10 meter, you could go ahead and do a running bowline within the tail of itself and choke it onto a spar and run it in single line configuration. This is the shorter one. This is a 3 meter, 9 foot. That's a little, it's a little short to do the running bowline, so the OD loop would be perfect for this. Or a prusik and whatever device you decide to use to choke onto a spar with. We won't get into that one.
Going down a rabbit hole.
Yep, not going down that rabbit hole today. Safety talk. We'll do that with a safety talk.
Good.
But yeah, the lanyard system itself, we have 2 spliced eyes on it, sewn. Each end is tagged. I'm sorry, the output end is tagged with all your pertinent information, all the standards that it actually adheres to. EN, ANSI, and CE ratings are all on the tag. But yeah, durability, wearability is very durable. But like any other cordage, it is susceptible to nicks and cuts, just like anything else. If you hit it with a handsaw, it's gonna show. But under normal abuse, it does hold up extremely well. With the OP, the Ocean Polyester Prusik, in combination with the Pinto, it really does give you a really smooth actuation, but it also sets pretty good.
I gotta say, as somebody who's ran a lot of different Prusik cordage on flip line and so on and so forth, and being in some interesting work positioning areas that usually you maybe get a cinch up, or you'd have too long of a Prusik that you have some major setback, I really, as a big time user of the product, I don't find that as a big deal at all. And I have guys that are like, oh, why wouldn't you use something mechanical, like a cam device of some sort, and just so on and so forth. And I'm like, listen, your cam device is great and I'm all about it, but I get the same type of action and the same type of experience as, when I'm using this. I feel like with personally, my usage of the HipSTAR Flex is a pretty expansive one just due to all the areas that I've worked in. Whether it be a lot of conifer takedowns. I did a lot of palm tree work in Southern California. And
you love that.
No. Ask me not living in California if I miss palm trees, and I'm going to tell you the real answer.
But you were the Palm King of Palm Springs.
Oh, you were the Palm King? Was that his title?
That's not my title.
That was his title?
No.
The Palm King.
No.
John Sullivan.
No. But let me tell you something. Palms eat up a lot of stuff. Saws, climbing cordage, whatever, and I found the HipSTAR Flex very durable through that. Now being in Oklahoma, I have a lot of rough bark species, soft bark species. I have a lot of deciduous stuff. So a lot of the uses Bill was talking about, being able to use it in like a V-rig and the pliability of the cordage itself, and just kind of the creativity that you can use with it. I like multifunctional stuff that I can use in all sorts of different ways, whether I'm just standard on my hips in a spar, I'm in my ring on my life support system, or I'm on my lower Ds for positioning. It does everything the way I need it to do. And like I said, working in all the different types of trees I've had the chance to work in, I think I have a pretty solid opinion on these type of things, and it's a really durable rope flip line.
So where does somebody, with all the different ways to use that, where does someone go learn that?
So
call Bill.
Call Bill. Call Bill. Call Bill.
So there's a lot of videos. Taylor Hamill did a very good video on the HipSTAR a few years ago, and shows you all the major uses of it.
Just on YouTube?
Yep, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Taylor Hamill on the HipSTAR Flex. Really good, informative video. Taylor does awesome videos.
Cool.
Really, really informative no matter what he's doing. But for me personally, I find myself moving this around my saddle all day long. If I'm out doing SRS climbing or even MRS climbing, I've been using this to do redirects while it's still attached to my saddle. I move this to my center point attachment on my bridge. I use it to my lower Ds. Like, this is the multifunctioning of the HipSTAR just opens up a whole different world of what you can do. Redirecting your rope on a flat angled tree, using the HipSTAR up over an outside limb to bring in a vertical tie-in point over your head, and maintain on your system while it's still on your saddle. And just one of the many things. And I learned that from Giorgio Forini from Italy. He did on one of his videos with one of his lanyard systems, and I tried it with this one and it worked.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay.
Well, aside from that, let's also talk about what's important to tree guys. Like, this is really streamlined and beautiful. Everything matches. The green on the green, the shinies on the shinies. Like, come on, like let's talk about the visual aspect.
It's sexy.
It is.
Well, and also let's be real. I want my cordage to pop in a tree because it is a safety thing.
Okay.
Like, I see guys, not guys, but I see some cordage that comes out and it's like, yeah, that looks really pretty, but like I could lose that in a dense canopy. You know what I mean? Also, like, you're cutting sucker growth near your flip line or whatever. You want something that really pops visually. And I didn't really think about that until actually Bill brought it up to me about a couple of years ago. And he's like, yeah, there's reasons that we make this stuff look really bright to the eye. It's a safety thing too. So to have something as bright and fluorescent, and even after wear and tear, you're still going to see it.
You're still going to see it.
Yeah.
No,
So-
it's just a great multi-functioning piece of kit.
Let's go over inspections, before you climb on that. What are all the points you want to inspect on it?
Okay, so starting at your anchoring point with your Pinto and your cordage, obviously we don't want to break this open until we have to because it carries a CE rating on it. Once it's broken open, the CE rating is changed because you broke open a factory tied system. So over time, you're
Okay, so talk about that a little bit more.
Okay, so from the factory, we tie this at the factory.
Mm-hmm.
We certify this as a piece. Now, we all know that certain people every climber has a preferred hitch. Once you break this open and you untie this, if it is not tied in the same exact configuration that we have here, the CE rating is null and void.
But if somebody reties it
it's the CE system,
It's still
Which is a
good.
distal, right? We're going distal hitch
Yeah,
on
this
that.
is a distal.
Okay,
It would maintain the CE rating.
gotcha. Okay.
It has to be done exactly in the same fashion because that's how it's
Exact
certified.
same amount of loops, all that good
Correct.
jazz.
Gotcha.
So starting down here, we'll start at one end of the cordage. And just like we do our climbing rope, we're just going to feel the core, covering the core, looking for any deviations the full length. You're going to feel for any voids, any bunching, any hard spots. It's something that doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll cause for further inspection. And if it doesn't pass further inspection, then you have to get rid of it. Anytime we see the core exposed, whether in the line cordage or the prusset cordage, it's out of commission. There's no excuse for having that in commission if the core is exposed. If I have any cuts, any nicks that are into the core, get rid of it. If we have some fluffy stuff coming up, there is a standard. I do not know the standard by heart, but every manufacturer has a certain standard on the amount of strands that are allowed to be cut per diameter, and you can find that on manufacturers' websites.
Okay.
Isn't it 10% of the strandage count? So
Once
24
again,
strand would be 2.4 strands or whatever per
diameter.
Yeah,
It should be per diameter.
Right.
Check with each manufacturer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know enough about the
Read
standard.
the booklets
Read
that
it.
come with the product. All
If
of us
not,
men don't want to.
Ask the
but
questions to the right people.
Call Bill.
Call.
Call me and I'll find out. So we do the cordage, both the prusik and the line. Then we go to our carabiners doing our 3 test. So we do our normal gate open and close. Then we do half open and close, and then we do full open and close. If it passes all 3, good. If it fails 1, it's got to be cleaned. If it fails 2, you should be replacing it. A clean carabiner's a happy carabiner.
Mm-hmm.
If it's slow to close, clean it. That's all it takes. Just
I
clean
thought
it.
you were going to say some like good rhyme or something there when
No,
you said that.
if it's
slow to close,
no, I don't
it's
have anything good like that.
oh, I thought it was coming.
Slow to close doesn't flow.
It doesn't flow. It's got to go.
It's got to go.
Patent pending.
All right.
Trademark.
So we covered the cordage, the Pinto. Obviously, the Pinto is pretty straightforward. We're going to check for any excessive dirt and wear. Just check the bearing. If the bearing has excessive play, may want to replace it. Other than that, there's really not much on the Pinto that can go wrong, which is really nice. It's nice not to have to worry about something like that. But one of the most important points is the splicing, especially on your hook side, because your hook side does not have a covering. On any sewn splice, anytime that these splices start to get impacted by the tail coming out and they start to pull, you should get rid of it. Some people protect the splices with some electrical tape. Not going to say it's not. I'm not going to say it's wrong, but I'm going to say you can't inspect it on a daily basis. So take that as it is. As long as you can inspect your splice, you want to retape it every day while you're working, go for it. But you have to be able to visually inspect that splice on a daily basis. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Good. Awesome. Anything else to say on the product?
Go buy it.
Go buy it.
Just go spend some money.
You-
I mean, I've spent a bunch of money here already. So let's just follow suit, spend some money.
You climb with it every day?
Yeah. I did have to retire mine recently. It just had one too many little frays. I'm that guy that, the silky and the positioning lanyard really try to get along a lot. You know what I mean? So I did have to retire mine recently, and I did do some replacement cordage with it. But I'll be ordering some new ones soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, there you have it. Gear Talk. Teufelberger's HipSTAR Flex Lite. Get it at a store near you. But great information. Thanks for sharing all that with us. So, hey, guys, if you like the episode, you got something out of it, you learned something, share it, pay the fee for that, and continue to elevate the standard of the industry through safety, training, innovation. That's Two Tree Guy Podcast, Gear Talk. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.